I am Rachel Savory. I'm a special agent with the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, and I'm a volunteer for the Payne County Mounted Patrol, and we're a search and soon to be a search and rescue team. So we do a lot of crowd control, a lot of parades, a lot of public PR stuff to just kind of get people introduced to horses and the benefits that they provide people. The purpose of the ball is to, number one, desensitize the horses to things that typically they won't see. And it also teaches the horses about pressure and pushing people and crowd control. A lot of times when there is a crowd situation, a lot of people involved, we're going to need the horses to push people back physically, and so that ball helps train our horses how to do that. And it's fun. The horses usually enjoy that.
Now when you say desensitize, what does that mean?
So that just means to introduce them to things that are scary. Things that might not scare a dog or a person will terrify a horse, like a stroller or a bicycle or even large crowds, like for example the OSU Homecoming Parade. There are a lot of people there, a lot of different sights and sounds. Sirens, radios, loudspeakers, balloons popping, bottles and wrappers shaking around, things that they don't hear just in the wild or in the arena or even in the field where they live. So we introduce them to all of those things. We've also gotten to introduce our horses to helicopter sounds, ambulance, fire trucks, and then just driving around them with a police car or a police unit with their lights and sirens on to just get them used to that. The Payne County Mounted Patrol, it used to be called, a long time ago, the Payne County Mounted Posse. And the new sheriff, R.B. Hoff, wanted to bring it back, and so now it's called just the Payne County Mounted Patrol, and it started again in September of 2011. So we've gone from a large team to a small team and kind of fluctuated a little bit just because of our requirements and the tryouts and things like that. So that's kind of what we do and who we are. And we like to come to stuff like this to just, like I said earlier, introduce people to horses and their antics and all the benefits that they can bring. Even if you're not a rider, horses are fun to be around just because they're cheaper than therapy. Much cheaper than therapy, and they have minds of their own. So they're kind of like a cat and a dog all into one, a little bit bigger. If you would like to stick around, they're going to fake arrest me, so you'll see what it looks like when we make an arrest off of horseback.
For arrest for PI and disorderly conduct. Basically, we can do several different things on our horses, and one of them is that we can do an arrest. What happens is, over the radio, the individuals will call out a description of the person that we are looking for, and then they'll give us the reasoning why we are making contact with that individual. What we did was we had them come over, gave the description, and told us that it was for a PI, which is public intox, and disorderly conduct. So what we do is we search for the individual. Once we make contact, we let the individual know why we are making contact with them, what they are being arrested for, and then let them know that we are going to take them to the ground crew or ground control, which is the officers that will make the official arrest. One of the biggest advantages of having horses anywhere is that we are further up in the air compared to somebody on the ground. So our vantage point, our viewpoint, how far the distance that we can see is actually doubled compared to what it is on the ground. And it makes it easier in a crowd control situation, because if there's 20, 40, 50 individuals and you're looking for a specific person with, say, a pink shirt with stripes on it, with blonde hair tied up in a yellow ponytail, we can spot that person a lot easier because we can search through the crowd a lot better than somebody on the ground who has to kind of weave in and out of the individuals. So the volunteer aspect is basically it's all of our own time. It's our horses. We take care of any kind of medical, the feeding, the housing, all of that is on the individuals. So for anybody who would like to be part of the Mounted Patrol, of course, first they have to have a horse. They have to pass several different inspections on the horse and them, the horse's health, and then of course their riding abilities, and then the soundness of the horse for different situations like crowd control or parades or search and rescue. So in order to volunteer, because we do take volunteers, it's how we operate, you'd have to come up to the office, fill out an application of course, and then we would meet a couple different times to kind of evaluate the situation of your horse, you, and how well that you guys work together, and in those situations that we are. So we do, not only do we do crowd control and search and rescue, we've also do parades. We do a lot of PR, and we take the horses out to different events just so people can get used to us, know that we are around, and also just see how calm and sweet and the utilization that horses have in the industry and in law enforcement. My name is Patricia Benavidez. I'm from Stillwater, and I've worked for the Payne County Sheriff's Office. And this is my horse. She's a 12-year-old quarter horse. Her name is GF Cowboy Sachet, but we call her Fancy. She's 12, and I've had her since she was 2 years old, and I do pretty much everything with this horse.
Tell me about adoption.
Oh, adoption is extremely important for horses. A lot of people will get a horse and decide, oh, I can't handle them, or they're not trained well enough, or any of that kind of stuff. So they'll just leave them out and about, not feed them, not take care of them, or even sell them to a slaughterhouse or an auction. And I'll be honest with you, some horses are just left out in the pasture to die. So adoption is a really good opportunity for people who want to own horses or have an interest in helping animals. It gives them a way to get a horse for a lot cheaper than normally you would purchase a good horse for. And it also, I don't know, it just does a huge kindness to people's hearts. And like here at this facility, they do a lot of adoptions and saving horses. They'll get them when they're in the worst condition you could imagine, like starving to death and their feet are all out of shape and they just have injuries. And they'll bring them back, basically bring them back to life and give them a second chance. So adoption is very important. So I've rescued I rescued a horse at one time, and she was a pregnant mare and she was headed for slaughter. And the only thing wrong with her, she was the wrong color for the people that bought her. And that's unfortunate. Can you say goodbye, Kit? No. Mind of her own.